I'm Alonzo Thompson, Chief of Police of the Spartanburg Police Department. My teammates and I envision a day when the city of Spartanburg has no domestic violence incidents, a year when there are no domestic violence related deaths, a time when no children feel unsafe in their homes, and no families are seeking safe shelter because the person that committed to love them is hurting them. Admittedly, such a vision is an unattainable ideal, but we are committed to this goal nonetheless because we will help alleviate the pain and suffering of so many in our pursuit of it. The Spartanburg Police Department is committed to educating our community about the devastating impact associated with domestic violence and dispelling some of the misconceptions about it. For instance, why it happens, who it happens to, and the terrible isolation that these victims feel. We are extremely fortunate and so grateful that we have a community where victims of domestic violence and sexual assault can find supportive resources and safe shelter through the Safe Homes Rape Crisis Coalition. The successful collaborative efforts of the Safe Homes Rape Crisis Coalition, the many other coalition entities statewide, and the partnerships that they build are apparent. Their work resulted in the positive news of South Carolina no longer being in the top 10 states in the nation for women being killed by their intimate partner. Lastly, I reiterate that the men and women of the Spartanburg Police Department remains committed to the vision that one day there will no longer be a need for Solicitor Barnett's Homefront Initiative, Safe Homes Rape Crisis Coalition, Victims of Crime Act, nor crime victim compensation. But until then, this is not the time to ease up. We must instead lean in and be all in. It is not the time to celebrate or rest on our past laurels or accomplishments. There is much work still to be done. Let us all commit to being a part of the solution so that one day soon, that vision will become a reality.
I'm Marla Drummond, and I'm the victim's advocate here at the Spartanburg Police Department. I primarily work cases of domestic violence for the city. I've been here for approximately 15 years, and unfortunately, I've seen hundreds of cases come across my desk. What I wanted to bring to your attention today is really how important the resources are through Safe Homes Rape Crisis Coalition. Our partnership with that agency is truly vital. I wouldn't be able to do what I do with victims of interpersonal violence. There are so many, and our mission here at Spartanburg Police Department is to hopefully prevent that violence through advocacy, through justice, and just through accountability of these abusers. And so I hope that not just through education in the community, but one teaching another how important it is to come forward. You can work with Safe Homes and not even report your incident to the police if that's not what you want to do. We just want you to be safe. We want our families in the city and around the community to know that they can trust us and come to us if they have any type of violence going on in their relationships or in their homes. Violence is not something we want our children to grow up in. We don't want victims of any age, our elderly, our youth, being witness to. It does affect their relationships as they grow. So please help us today and in this month of October to remind the community how important it is to acknowledge domestic violence and to support the victims and families that are victims of this interpersonal violence.
Okay, I'm Investigator Joseph Pilato. I'm with the Spartanburg City Police Department. I investigate domestic violence cases for the city. I was placed in this position because my passion is to see the lethality of domestic violence victims reduce in numbers, to keep the children safe, to keep families and intimate partners safe, and to try to reduce both for those who are suspects in these cases, both male and female alike, as well as the victims, and try to get them services for the needs to strengthen relationships. Because as we all know, relationships in the community are important, and it affects everybody on an everyday scale, whether you're eating lunch out in a public place or whether the kids are in school. My job is with full heart to try to assist everybody in meeting those needs for everybody. So my heart is to see the kids grow up in a healthy environment, so they too, both in school and as well as on the everyday lifestyle, had the ability to function and to enjoy family life, and for both the offenders as well as the victims to make sure they get the proper services. And I hardly encourage the families that are out there, if they start to feel isolated, to recognize that part of the symptoms of domestic violence is the isolation process. And one of the greatest things that hurts most people is when people see domestic violence, the first thing they do is hush hush. They don't want to report it, and as a result, domestic violence grows, even to the point of lethality where someone gets killed. So we want people to be better educated to understand these are not good signs when they start to see them, and to try to reach out to law enforcement and to others in the community to get these services, so that they too can end up not only being helped, but also that they can find the needs that they are lacking for community support, for family support, as well as being a productive person in society. So we here at the police department strive to make sure everybody gets these services, and we're very passionate about it. Thank you.
Hello, I am Christina Morgan. I work for Spartanburg Police Department. I am a sergeant assigned to the patrol division, and I want to speak about a little bit about our initial response to domestic related calls. So once the call is dispatched to us for a possible domestic related call, the officer gets to the scene. They're going to evaluate the information, and if they determine that the incident falls under domestic violence, then the officer does not have a choice. It's not up to the victim, it's not up to the suspect, it's not up to us. We are mandated by law to document the incident, even if a crime has not been committed. So again, if it falls under domestic violence, officers do not have a choice, they have to document it. If a crime is committed, we are also mandated to investigate all the way through. The beauty of Spartanburg County is that we have the Homefront Initiative. So there is a whole bunch of resources for the victims, and it's a whole lot easier to prosecute these cases, and everything is taken in consideration. So I will strongly suggest for everybody to get familiar with the Homefront Initiative, with the South Carolina statute, and reach out to people, reach out to Safe Homes. They have a lot of resources. Reach out to us. We don't necessarily go with intention of locking somebody up. If we have the ability to help you right then and then we're gonna guide you to the right direction. We're gonna give you the resources that you might need at that time. So it all it takes is a phone call, reach out, talk to somebody. But just know that there's a lot of help out there.